This is Lucas Guzman, and this is my presentation on knowledge management technologies and Office 365 in a small business setting. So first thing we want to talk about is, what is knowledge management? Well, knowledge management involves the process of creating, organizing, and sharing a firm's collective knowledge to achieve sustainability. So when a knowledge management is properly implemented and focused around achieving organizational goals, it can improve innovativeness and responsiveness to environmental changes. So in a nutshell, knowledge management involves all organizational knowledge, the storage of it, the creation of it, the retrieval, the dissemination of it, and the retirement of it when it is no longer relevant to the organization. So, knowledge management technologies facilitate communication between individuals, such as email. It could be voice over IP systems. It could be instant messaging, such as Microsoft Teams or Skype or Zoom. Information sharing. Knowledge creation, such as Excel spreadsheets, Microsoft Word documents, PowerPoints, storage, and securities. Okay, so there's a few things that are necessary for knowledge management to be successful in an organization. So the first thing you have to have is knowledge management leadership. That's going to be the knowledge management champion of the organization, the one that pushes it forward for you, that guides the process. Through promotions, creating and applying the process, system and structure, and ultimately creating a culture that where knowledge sharing is an appropriate behavior. And it's just something that everybody does. You create knowledge and you share knowledge with each other. You store it. And that becomes part of the culture of the organization is knowledge sharing. You also have to have a process in place, and this is how you're going to create it, where you're going to put it, how are you going to find it. The strategy, that's going to be the organizational strategy. So what is your organization trying to accomplish here? So you have to know what the organization is trying to accomplish, and then you build your process around that strategy. So what's the end goal here? And the politics. So politics can be a little confusing to explain, but in essence, if you don't have any knowledge management practices in place, you have to convince somebody that Office 365 is a necessity for the organization, and here's why. This software, this system, this server, this is something that we need for the organization, and you have to convince somebody why that's necessary. And oftentimes the return on investment is not going to be immediately identifiable or quantifiable. And so it can be an uphill battle implementing knowledge management processes, especially if the organization has none to begin with. And a lot of people are just content with what they already have, and they're not going to see the benefits of anything new, but without seriously persuading them to do so. So what is Office 365? Well, it's a cloud-based, subscription-based productivity suite created by Microsoft, and it includes applications such as Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Outlook, and SharePoint. And the way it works is the price ranges anywhere from $5 to $20 per license per user, and they're all cloud-based apps that they work on Mac and PC and your Androids and iOS devices. And all of these different things fall under one blanket purchase. It's just one subscription fee, and you have access to all this. So previously you would have to buy each of these licenses individually, and sometimes at the tune of a few $100s per product, per user. So this has really opened up the doors for large organizations and small organizations and it's with a very affordable price point for this productivity suite. Okay, so some of the small business benefits of implementing Office 365 in your organization are agility. So you'll be able to quickly create things and quickly respond to customers, and it just makes your organization faster and more agile. You can stay competitive with other organizations that are most likely using it as well. It comes to a very affordable price point, which we talked about earlier. Multi-platform access, knowledge creation, knowledge storage, and knowledge sharing. And security also has built-in security features. So the company I work for is called Chair Care Patio, and they specialize in custom outdoor cushions. And they're a family business. They're founded in 1988. They have about 30 employees right now, and it's very seasonal. Since it deals with outdoor in Texas, it's a very seasonal business. And right now they probably have 300 custom cushion jobs in-house that they're having to juggle various variables. So there's different fabrics, there's different foam fills, there's cutting, there's sewing, there's accounting, there's purchasing, and they're split between two different buildings. You have production on one side, and you have administrative people on the other side. And so there's a lot of communication that has to happen between people. And Office 365 has been elemental in their success with communicating between departments and keeping in contact with customers. So some of the ways that Chair Care Patio uses Office 365 is they use the built-in Exchange server that it comes with, and the email, document creation, document sharing, document storing, SharePoint for the company intranet, and more importantly, to communicate amongst members. So we use Microsoft Teams a lot to it kind of replaces text messaging on the phone, and it allows people to work from home when need be. During COVID, that was really elemental in keeping in contact with people that were working from home, and helps us communicate with customers. So as a small business, there are some challenges. It's not perfect. Number one, you probably need to have a little bit of background and knowledge management to implement that process. And as far as I know, nobody in that organization does. I mean, the owners don't have any background in knowledge management, and I surely didn't before taking this class. You have to have a culture for knowledge sharing and creation, and you're not really going to have that if you don't have a background in knowledge management. Leadership and trust for organizational change. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a problem, but it can be a challenge if it's not present. Your return on investment, it's not going to be directly visible. So when you're trying to get your owner or managers to implement some sort of technology or some sort of machinery or some sort any knowledge management technology, that return on investment is not always visible, and the benefits are not always quantifiable and tangible, and that can be a problem. It can get tough to measure contribution, especially in a small business. You must reward active users, or the culture is not going to be there. If there's no reward for sharing and creating knowledge, then the culture is never going to be there. And you have to keep information up to date and relevant. And that's one of the struggles that I face constantly. Is I go to the company Dropbox or OneDrive folder to look for a document, and it's outdated, or that W-9 that the vendor needs has last year's date on it. So information needs to be updated and revised and discarded when it's no longer relevant. So what are some ways that an organization can improve knowledge management processes? Well, first you should understand the organizational goals and objectives. This goes to the start of the organization, the creation of the organization. Why does this organization exist? What are you trying to do? So you want to design your knowledge management practices around those organizational goals. And obviously, leadership needs to be involved. You want to empower employees. You want to empower those underneath top management levels. You want to promote creativity and sharing amongst individuals. That's part of culture. And you want to invest in technologies that fit your organization. So you don't want to have a technology that's too big or way over your head. It needs to be just right for your organization. And you want to encourage collaboration, centralize information so that everybody can find it, and just continually improve your processes. So, strategy. So for Chair Care Patio, which is where I work, the strategy here, it means facilitating customer satisfaction and delivering a long-lasting made-in-the-USA product. So that's our technology strategy, to facilitate customer satisfaction and deliver a long-lasting made-in-the-USA product. So Office 365 helps us attain those goals by generating easy-to-read production schedules, document storage, email, servers, company intranet, and other things. Leadership and trust. Trust can be described as employee faith in corporate goal attainment and organizational leaders, and the belief that ultimate organizational action will prove beneficial of employees. So if the reasons and benefits are made clear to employees, they're more likely to adhere to new models of knowledge management. So politics in the knowledge management process. It's imperative that upper-level management understand the implications of proper knowledge management practices and how it's going to benefit the organization in achieving its goals. So support's needed from the top so that those below are empowered to share and disseminate knowledge. Okay, and so now for a few takeaways. Office 365 is a viable knowledge management tool for small business, including small businesses like Chair Care Patio. Strategy, leadership, and culture are paramount for successful knowledge management implementations and their processes. And knowledge management processes and technologies should revolve around organizational strategies. Attached are my references, and thank you so much.